let it take me away. Let it take me away.
When it's too hard to believe in and you feel so alone, nothing's right, nothing's clear, and it's too big to conceive in. God, are you really there? That's when I swear I hear a whisper in my ear. I am here, right where you are, part of every mountain, part of every star. You are here, right where I am, part of every ocean, every grain of sand. I'm as close as the very breath you breathe. I am part of you, and I will always be. I am here. I am here inside of you, part of everything, part of all you do. You are here, you're here with me, part of everything that's felt, all that's heard and seen. I'm as close as the very breath you breathe, part of you, and I will always be. When it's too big to believe in and I feel so alone, nothing's right, nothing's clear, and it's too hard to conceive in. God, are you really there? That's when I swear I hear a whisper in my ear. I am here, right where you are, part of every mountain, part of every star. You are here, right where I am, part of every ocean, every grain of sand. I'm as close as the very breath you breathe. I am part of you, and I will always be. I am here, 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 and I will always
fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. Ba-da-bum, ba-da, 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 bum, ba-da, 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 bum, ba-da, 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 bum, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life. Oh, so is a life. Ah, so is a life.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve, this is Seth. We are your music team today. Welcome to all of you.
I can set my mind at ease if I learn to slowly breathe. Then I feel it coming in. That is when this life will begin. So just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. I can set my soul at ease. Oh, and I take the time to breathe. Then I feel it coming in. That is when this life will begin. So just breathe. Just breathe. Oh, just breathe. Just breathe. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Emanana yo yo yo, 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 emanana yo yo. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Yes, I know it's not far from my heart. Thank you.
Well, good morning and welcome to Columbine Unity Spiritual Center, where, centered in God, we celebrate a world of peace, harmony, and abundance for all. Please stand and join us for some joy singing. Feel free to move about.
2, 3, 4. Well, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And I want to introduce Jeannie Oliver, our Director of Youth and Family Ministry.
Hi, Columbine. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys being here. So, all right, I am Jeannie Oliver, the Youth and Family Minister, and today we have a very special person, Colleen Jane, that's going to do storytelling with us. So we're really excited. And then we have our hoopla and have a lot of fun. So all the kids can follow me and the teachers, and we'll let you guys get on with your service. So.
Let's bless the kids.
Bless you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We see the Christ you are. All right. How about a little freedom, Seth? What do
All
you
right,
think?
please feel free to sing around. There's no lyrics up here for this one, but the chorus is the word freedom over and over again. Yeah? Here we go. Freedom, 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 freedom. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Oh, long, long way from home. Freedom, 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 freedom. on. Wait for more. Clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands, now clap your hands, clap your hands, hey, clap your hands, clap your hands, and sing freedom, 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 oh, freedom, 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 freedom. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Hey, no. Wait for Thank you.
If you'd be seated, and we'll quiet our bodies and our minds and prepare for meditation and prayer. Shivaya, Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah
So I invite you into a time of prayer with me. Gently close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a deep cleansing breath. Allow yourself with the exhale to release. Release anything that's standing in the way of you being fully present this morning. Just release. There's a freedom in that. And so, sweet Spirit, this morning we are allowing ourselves to release those things that no longer serve us, to release those things that weigh us down, that heaviness, so that we may release our inner splendor, release our divine nature, release the joy that is bubbling up within us. We allow that. And as we allow that, we feel the presence of you, Spirit. We feel the present of your presence. And no matter what's going on in our world, whatever circumstances we're facing, that presence can bring us back to center. So we thank you, Spirit. Thank you for this life, for these blessings, and for this gift of release. We hold this for everyone on our prayer list and every prayer request in our prayer box. We hold this for ourselves, for our families, our circle of friends, our community. We hold this place of presence, of freedom, of knowing that we can release. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Now I want to invite you into a time of meditation with me, a time where we align ourselves with that divine presence within. We will sit for a few moments in the silence, and then our music team will gently lead us out. For now, let's rest together in the silence.
Follow, follow the sun, which way the wind blows when this day is done. And breathe, breathe in the air. Set your intention. Dream with care. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. So follow, follow the sun, direction of the birds, the direction of love. And breathe, breathe in the air. Cherish this moment. Cherish this breath. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. When you feel life coming down on you like a heavy weight, when you feel this crazy society adding to the strain, take a stroll to the nearest water's edge. Remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long, long before you came. So which way's the wind blowing? What does your heart say? Follow, follow the sun, which way the wind blows. This day is done. And breathe, breathe in the air. Cherish this moment. Cherish this breath. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. Whoa, tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun.
Thanks, Seth, Steve, Steven, John. Seth and Steve are filling in for Robert Anderson, who is filling in for Janice. You got to be agile around here. Thanks, guys. It's beautiful. I ran across a little story from a book called The Perfect Catch by H. Norman Wright. And the story is there's 3 men, and they each have 2 backpacks. One they wear in the front, and one they wear in the back. The first man talked about his backpack and said, well, in my life, I put all my good in the backpack behind me. I like to just store everything back there, and right in front of me, I put all those things that weigh me down. I put all those things that are negative in my life, like bitterness and resentment and fear and shame, and I take it out and I look at it to make sure I don't make the same mistakes again, and I keep it right in front of me so I'm always aware of it. He didn't get very far in his life. The second man talked about his backpacks, and he said, well, I put in the front of my backpack all my blessings, all the good things that are in my life, all the good relationships, all the joy that I have, all the fun and the play. And I take it out and I show it off and I show people all my good and all my blessings all the time on my journey. And in the back, I put all those things in there that I don't like, that weigh me down, that cause me grief, that cause me pain and suffering. And it gets very, very heavy. And I just don't get very far in life either because I'm so weighed down. The third man said, well, I too put the backpack that I put in the front of me with my blessings. It's filled with blessings. It's filled with joy and laughter and song and dance and play. And I love looking at this stuff. And it's like the sail on a boat. It propels me forward. And I, too, in the back, put those things that are heavy, that weigh me down. But I cut a hole in the bottom of my backpack, and they just go right through. They don't weigh me down at all. So who do you relate with? Where is your backpack? I have a prop today. I have a bag that I filled with books about relationships, woe, about parenting woes, about life woes, and it's pretty heavy, and we're going to pass it around. You're going to get an opportunity. Anne's going to start. You're going to get an opportunity to just pass it around. See how that feels. See how it feels to carry that weight around with you, these things that are no longer serving us. Now, don't cut a hole in my bag, please. Nobody. But Ann Barry-Jolis talks about release. We're talking about release today. We're in week 4 of a 7-week series using this book, Grace Trail by Ann Barry-Jolis. We have new copies in the bookstore that are signed by the author. So if you don't have a copy, get yours now. But this week is about release. Last week was gratitude. We're going through the words, the letters that make up the word grace. We'll have acceptance, challenge, and embrace in weeks to come. But release. You're passing that backpack around. It's feeling kind of heavy, right? There's a heaviness. Yesterday, I was driving back from Boulder to my home in Denver, and I was feeling this heaviness. I was feeling it in my body, and I felt like I just really needed to release, and I didn't have time to go for a run when I got home last night. And so I made sure I was safe, and the windows were rolled up, and I screamed. It's kind of scary how loud I can scream when I want to. But it was a release to just let it out. I screamed 2 more times with some very strong language, I might add. But it was it's one of the switchbacks. And in each chapter of the book, our author talks about switchbacks and how you can embody, or in this case, release that which no longer serves us. Sometimes we have to let it out of our body. Sometimes that means dancing like nobody's watching, or screaming, making sure you're safe, but screaming, or running, sweating it out. I often do that, to just sweat it out intentionally. Release the muck to uncover the grace. Because the grace is always there. It's always available to us. Sometimes it's in our bodies, and sometimes it's a shift in our thinking that we need to release. We need to release some thoughts, some emotions, some beliefs. And we have a treat this morning because we have a service assistant, one of our newer members here, Jim Kennedy, and he's going to talk about his experience with release. Come on up, Jim.
Thank you, Sue. Super, super grateful to be here with all of you this morning and to have this chance to share a little bit about my relationship with release and share with you a personal story of what I might call a major release event in my life and some of the lessons that I learned as a result. So, gosh, release is such an incredibly powerful practice. So let me set the stage for this release event. This was about 9 years ago, and well, for those of, I know many of you, but there are many of you I don't know, and so those of you who I've had a chance to get to know a bit, maybe you see me as this kind of easygoing guy who kind of goes with the flow and all of that good stuff, and I wish I could say I've always been that way, but not so much. There was a time leading up to 9 years ago, say, where I was very controlling. I wanted to control everything about my life. I don't know if this sounds familiar to any of you, but I wanted to control anything that happened to me. I wanted to ensure that only good things happened, that I was safe, that those around me were safe. Whatever I felt I could control, and even the things that I probably realized I couldn't control, I tried to control. So always in the mode of control. Control and ensure that things worked out the way that I wanted them to. I was very driven also. I always had lots of goals. I don't know who I was trying to prove I was, but I always felt compelled to do more and do more and do more. And I think that underneath that there was a sense of feeling like maybe I wasn't good enough, like maybe I had to prove myself to someone or some people. So I was very driven. And the last thing I might say about kind of setting the stage for this release event is that I was very judgmental. Not too ashamed to admit it, but I was very judgmental with others, with my life, with circumstances, with myself. I had internalized a lot of judgments about myself that I carried around like a heavy backpack, like Sue was talking about this morning. I think I put those judgments in the front and back backpacks because they weighed me down, man. Some of them were internal, some of them I adopted from others, particularly around being gay is a huge, huge burden to bear in this society. So lots of judgments, lots of control, driven, lots of judgments. So I'm leading my life kind of going 100 miles an hour. Like I said, I'm driven, I've got lots of plans. I'm from all maybe exterior appearances, probably experienced a fair amount of success, but I wasn't paying attention to what was happening on the inside. So I'm blazing through my life, sort of ignoring some of this stuff, and then one morning, about 9 years ago, I woke up and it just came crashing down. It just came, everything that I thought that I knew, and believe me, I thought I knew. I thought I knew what I knew and I was right. But everything just came crashing down. The floor just, it felt like it fell out from under me. And I didn't know what was happening. It's taken me time to process, like, what was I even experiencing? Because I'm the type of person where I'm always optimistic, I'm always energetic. Each day, I don't have long periods of feeling down. I might feel down for a bit, but I bounce back. And this day, I just didn't bounce back. And I was getting ready for work, and I stood in the closet, and the door was open, and I said to my husband, Dennis, who was still half asleep, I said, I think I broke something in myself, and I don't know how to fix it. And it was a new experience for me because I thought, like I said, I did bounce back, and I always knew how to fix it, but this time I just couldn't do it. And it was still early in the morning, and I walked out to the kitchen to prepare breakfast for myself, some oatmeal. And once I had that water boiling, this is how bad it was. I put my cell phone in it. Forget the oatmeal. For some reason, I didn't think about it, but that cell phone seemed to symbolize just all of the rushing and the goals and I don't know what it symbolized exactly, but I put that cell phone in the water. And then I just started screaming. So I'm getting real vulnerable here with you all. I'm done. And I'm just screaming. I'm just standing in the kitchen alone, screaming at this pot of boiling water with my cell phone, saying I'm done. And I was done. I was done with it all. I was done with holding on to all those beliefs. I was done holding on to that control, that imaginary control. I was done holding on to those thoughts about who I thought I was supposed to be, or how my life was supposed to be, or how other people were supposed to be. I let go of my expectations. All of those thoughts and beliefs about myself and about others and about the world, they just came crashing down. And that might seem like a good thing, except at the moment it didn't, and it just sort of left me in this rubble where for the next several weeks I sort of wandered through the days just trying to get from here to there. And I remember later that morning, that same morning, after Dennis took our son Alex to work, he found me sitting in the living room. And I said to him, I'm sorry, but I just don't want to live anymore. And it's not that, thinking back, it's not that I didn't want to live. I just didn't want to live as I had been living. So that sounds like a sad story, and I'm getting all weepy. But actually, that was just a tremendous release for me, within me. And it gave the space for me to discover what was next. And so it wasn't a bad thing, and it wasn't a sad thing. It was an opportunity. And I couldn't see down the road at the time, but it opened inside me a path to spiritual growth, a path to wanting to learn and understand, what is this life all about? It's not what I think it's about. It's not what I've been told it's about. So I had to discover that. I had to discover that truth and understanding. So it really opened that up for me in a very positive way and set me on a spiritual path that has continued to this day, and it continues to unfold for me and surprise me that I'm even here speaking to you now about all this. And then quickly, I just wanted to share a couple of lessons that I learned out of that event. The first is that release is hard. It's so hard. It's incredibly hard. It seems like it should be so easy because we're setting things down, right? And that sounds like an easy thing. But for some reason, that's not how my mind worked. I don't know if that's how your mind works or not. But for some reason, my mind wanted to hold on. It wanted to hold on to what it thinks is right, what it knows is right, and what's wrong. It wants to hold on to being wronged. It wants to hold on to insisting on things being the way that they should be, that they're supposed to be, the right way. And so it was just clenched, and release was so hard. The second thing I learned is that it's necessary. We can hold on, we can go from birth to grave and hold on and hold on and hold on and have those heavy backpacks that will weigh us down more and more and more. but we'll miss the opportunity to know what else there is and to provide that space for those opportunities to come up and for that spirit, that essence to be expressed. It's necessary. Release is necessary. It might be hard, but it's necessary, and we can see it throughout nature, right? Release, 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 and then there's opportunity for growth and change and newness. The other thing that I learned about release is that it gets better. It definitely gets so much better. It seemed so scary at first, and it was traumatic, but it's so much better. I think, for me, if I release, the burden is lifted. And it's a trick of the mind that we have to hold on to these things. It's a trick. Try it if you haven't. That's how it was for me. I released, and it was so much better. And the last thing that I would share about the lessons I learned is that the release for me is the pathway, it's the doorway, it's the opening to peace and to presence, as Sue has mentioned, being fully present, and also to unconditional love. All of those three things were inaccessible to me. I couldn't find peace until I could release all the things that were obstacles to that peace. I couldn't be present in the present moment, which is all there is, which is where life happens. Other stuff happens in the other places. But I couldn't be fully present because I was too busy carrying around the past and what I thought, bringing into the present moment and worrying about the future. So how could I be present? I had to release that. So it was a gift for me, that presence. It was a present that came only with release. And same thing with unconditional love. I thought I knew something about love, but I didn't know anything really, not about unconditional love. The only way to get there is through release, because without release, I brought too many conditions to love. I brought too many judgments for myself and for others. And so that release really began to put me in touch with unconditional love, to begin to understand the truth of unconditional love, to be able to express that unconditional love. So I was so thankful for Sue inviting me to speak a little bit about release, because it's been such a powerful experience for me, and I hope it is for you as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim. I'll say that again. Thanks, Jim. I didn't have my mic on. It's a powerful story. And how many of us can relate to that? Yeah. Barry Jolis says, the only thing harder than letting go is trying to drag something along that needs to be released. It's true. We have a grace trail out in the yard. Some of you have walked the grace trail out in our yard, some of our small groups. The staff has done it 3 times now. We do it Wednesdays before our staff meetings. And we put the release stone intentionally at the playground. Because what do children do? They don't hold on to this stuff. They have their stuff, and then they let it go. They have no inhibitions. The release stone is at the playground to remind us to release those inhibitions, to allow ourselves to be in a state of play. That pleasure is part of life. Pleasure is a joyful part of life. This month, Unity Magazine just came out, the November-December issue, and Reverend Kelly Isola has an article in the very back, maybe the last page, on pleasure as a spiritual principle. How many times do we think, oh, I got to get back to work. I got to be so serious. Everything is work and hard. And we talk about the resentment and the bitterness and the fear and the judgment and all these things that we have to release. And we forget that pleasure is important to having a good spiritual life too. We want pleasure in our lives. We want joy in our lives. The world is a better place when we allow that in our lives. Just allow that pleasure. Whatever brings you pleasure in your life, spend time with it. Stop being so serious. The work will always be there. Or bring some fun or some pleasure into your work. This week I watched a movie on Netflix called Father Stew. Has anybody seen it? Yeah, a few of you. So it starts out a little strange, but Martha Creek, who was here last week, recommended it to me, and so I was watching it, and this man, Stuart Long, it's based on a true story, and Stuart Long has a tough life. He has to deal with a lot of loss and he has to release a lot. And sometimes it's not by his choice that he has to release and move on. But he continues to try. I'm not going to give away the story because I want you to watch it because it's really touching. But he had to let go of a lot of things that he believed about himself until he decided that he had this calling and he was going to follow his heart, follow his guidance, and become a Catholic priest, which was so out of left field for the life he had been living. And so he was giving these talks, these sermons, and they were speaking to people like him. He didn't change who he was by releasing different aspects of his life. He became greater. Eric Butterworth says, you don't need to become something different in order to release your imprisoned splendor. You don't have to be something different. Father Stu wasn't something different. He was just better, more loving, more joyful, more wiser, that he could share his stories, his personal stories with this congregation. The same with leaves. As they lose their chlorophyll, they unmask the beauty underneath. We can unmask our beauty by releasing those things that stand in the way of that. By letting go of those things. Where's that backpack? Who's got it? Oh, okay. Keep it going, because you know what? These things don't just stop, usually. Keep it moving. There's something really supportive within us. There's this divine potential within each of us, whether we realize it or not, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not. And sometimes it's a simple shift that can make all the difference. In the gospel, according to John, chapter 21, the apostles are fishing and they're catching nothing. They've been at it all night. And Jesus yells to them from the shore, cast your net on the right side of the boat. And so they take the few steps, cast their net on the right side of the boat, and they bring in a catch so heavy it takes all of them to lift it. There's so much fish. It just takes us a few steps to get rid of the way we always did things, to look at things from a different perspective. That metaphysically, this means look at it from a different perspective. Sometimes it's a simple shift from the left to the right side of the boat. Release that need that thinks you know how to do it, and you know how to do it right, as Jim talked about. There's freedom in that. There's a playfulness in that. There's joy in that. When we release our outdated ways of being. And how do we do this? How do we let go of things? Jolas talks on page 84 and 85 about this, that as the bag comes your way, you have choices. You can put it down and leave it down forever. Now that's hard to do. It's like going cold turkey, right? It's the beginning of 2021, and I had to let go of Panera Bread broccoli cheddar soup and bags of Ritz crackers. I had to go cold turkey on it. They weren't doing well for my weight. But this is just a walk away, a throw it away way of releasing. And sometimes it requires us. Sometimes things in our lives require us to just say, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done. Jim said, I'm done. Then there's other way. You can put it away for a while. Find another distraction. Find something else that you can focus on so you're not focusing on that heaviness. Choose a different perspective for a while. 3, put little pieces and parts of it down. You don't have to do it all at once. We had at the Unity Convention in June, there was a keynote speaker. One whole day was on earth care. And there was a keynote speaker that talked about the benefits of being vegan. And I watched this, and he was very compelling. And I'd never had any inclination whatsoever of doing this. And after he was done speaking, Kevin was out of town, and I texted him, I go, okay, we're going vegan. Well, you know, that's not an easy thing to do. So I was talking to Janice, who's vegan, and my daughter, who's vegan, and they said, you know, you don't have to do it all at once. Do a little bit at a time. Start small. So giving up some meat and you know, some other things. But put it down a little. So if you have the bag, you can take one of those books out. Does it feel a little lighter? You can take a couple books out. And the fourth one, she says, as far as releasing, is don't pick it up. It comes your way, don't pick it up. Refuse to pick it up. Things have a way of recirculating in our lives, especially lessons we haven't quite gotten. Just don't pick it up. Let others pick it up if they want to, but don't push it on them. But you don't have to pick it up. One of the questions that she talks about at the end of the book, at the end of this chapter on page 92, two of the questions I think are really important, the first two questions in this discussion. And these are for your small groups as well, using the same questions. What is in my control? What is out of my control? Ask yourself that. What is in my control? For me, what's in my control is my attitude, my perspective. I can control that, mostly. What's out of my control? What everybody else does, what everybody else says, circumstances that stuff happens. I get to choose how I'm going to respond to it. And I can choose to hang on and put stuff in the backpack, maybe put it right in front, or not. It's up to me. But she says, every situation, everything that comes your way, if you think, is this in my control or not? What control do I have of this situation, of this person, of this relationship? What control do I have? Focus your energies on those things you can change, those things you can control, not the things you can't. So much suffering, I think, that we experience is because we try to change things we can't change. They're not ours to change. And the second question is blank, blank, and blank really scare me. Fill in the blank. Yesterday, I would have answered that with walking down 3 flights of stairs in heels at the Hotel Beldorado as I was leading the wedding procession. Without holding on to a railing because they wanted me to walk in the middle by myself. That was scary. But what really scares us? What really scares you? I think one of the things that really scares me is getting older and being invisible and irrelevant. Now, she says, what's the probability that that may actually happen? Well, it may actually happen. I say it's a high probability that I'm going to get older, be not as relevant to a particular audience. But what is in my control? What is in my control? So always go back to that question, what is in my control? How I view myself, how I feel about myself, how relevant I feel about myself. That is in my control. What do I need to let go of? Other people's opinions, maybe. I know that for me, I want everybody to like me. So that's a tough one. It's a tough one. But ask those questions of yourself. If you're in a group, you'll have your group to discuss it with. If you're not, then answer those questions for yourself. Spend some time with it. What's in your control and what's out of your control? What needs to be released in consciousness? We all have this power of release. It's a unity teaching. One of the 12 powers is the power of elimination. The power to let go of thoughts that weigh us down, of beliefs that weigh us down, of perspectives that don't serve us anymore. We all have this ability, this capability within. You know, we have to get rid of the muck. And horse stalls need to be mucked out every day. It's a daily practice to stay clean. And when we do that, we uncover grace. We experience life in a whole new way when we can release, when we don't hold on to things. I have a practice I do every night, and I think it's really helped. I've been doing it for about maybe 7 or 8 months. It's called an examine. It's by Saint Ignatius, and it's a practice to look at your day. Before I go to sleep, it's the last thing I do. I reflect on the day. I'm aware of spirit in my life in everything, whether it's something happened that I'm not happy about or I'm judging myself about. And focus on the feeling. Focus on one particular thing and focus on the feeling of that. How do you feel about it? And pray about that. Pray about that one event, that one relationship, that one person, whatever it is for you from that day. And allow yourself to see it as a blessing, as a gift. And then look forward to tomorrow because you've released it. When you pray about it and you see the blessing in it, you've released it. Amberry Jolas says, letting go takes a belief in yourself that you are worth it. You are worth it. Each of you are worth it. You're worth it. You matter. Do some releasing. Let go of the muck, the standing in the way of the grace that is just longing to express as you. Peace be with you. Namaste.
Hello again. We got a call from Janice about 5 or 6 days ago to see if we'd fill in. We gladly accepted, and we found out the theme today was release, and a song popped right up to the top of my mind. Been playing the song for 30 years, and it's one of my favorite songs that I've ever heard. And it came at a very formative time of my life, about 15 years old. And the song's always also reminded me of my dad. So it's neat to get to play it with him. see the world and feel the chill. Which way to go? Windowsill, I see the birds on a rocking horse of time. I see the birds in the rain. See me now. I am myself, like you somehow. I'll ride the wave where it takes me. Can you see me now? I am myself, like you somehow. I'll wait up in the dark for you to speak to me.
Good morning, everyone. I feel like we had a triple threat blessing today because we had Sue's talk, we had Jim's sharing, and we have this beautiful music that they pulled together at the last second. Thank you. Thank you. Let's start with our purpose statement, if you'll say it with me. We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness, diversifying our community, manifesting our highest potential, and positively impacting the world. And we hope that this speaks to you. Most of you were part of creating that statement. And so a way that you can support us is financially, among all the other things that you offer here. And you can do that in the sanctuary here today as soon as we say the offertory blessing. You can also contribute online. There are many ways to do it, by text or through the website. And let's go ahead with our offertory blessing. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. We're grateful for each of you. You can find a lot of information on our website. We keep it updated, and there's a lot of links on there. If you ever think, where can I heard this message, but I forgot where the information is, check the website first, because that is packed with information. That's Amore. It's coming up soon. And this is the last day for you to purchase a ticket at the early bird price. And let me tell you why we do that. Because we need to prepare food, and we need to prepare seating, and we need to prepare other things. So it's super helpful for us to know a week in advance instead of a day before how many people we're counting on. So after service today, I think Bonnie will be out in the lobby, and she will be helping you to purchase a ticket if you've not already done that. And then again, you can bring any donations that you have. If it's information, you can send it to me, or you can send it to Linda if you have her email address. Mine is Anne, A-N-N-E, at columbineunity.org. If you have a physical item like a bottle of wine, those are collecting in my office, and I promise I'm not going to break into them. Or if you have the lottery tickets, the scratch-off lottery tickets, or gift cards, you can also bring those to my office or connect with me, and we can get them another way. But we really hope that you'll join us. This is promising to be a lot of fun a week from today. And Scott and Stuart would like to give us a special message. Can you read lips? We'll give it a minute and see if we can figure out. We will go ahead and play this next week. But basically, I'm sorry, Linda has a message. Oh, thank you, Linda. We are offering childcare for the event. So if you want information about that, speak to me or to Jeannie Oliver. We can give you the details about that. And then on October 30th, we're going to do our typical trunk or treat, and we will have the youth will decide who gets the prize for the best one, so give it your all. If you're not familiar with it, it's you open your trunk, you decorate it, and park in a certain area of the parking lot, and the children come through in their costumes and get the treats from you. And it's been a lot of fun in the past, and we invite you to join us for that. It makes it really exciting for the children if we have a large number of trunks. Okay, let's keep things in circulation. We have so many lost and found items. So we've gathered them in Foss Hall up on the stage. If it's yours, please take it. And then there are also a couple of tables of things that we're trying to recirculate because we've cleaned out some of our storage areas. We've discovered we have a little too much of this and a little too much of that. So please check it out in Foss Hall and help us keep these things in circulation, being used productively. And we'll have it next week as well. Okay, are you ready with the video? All right, let's try again.
Hey, honey, darling. Hey, tonight's fundraiser, I'm suspicious that people are going to want to know two things. How's retirement been for you? And two, how has your retirement been for me with you being home all day? How's it been for you?
Retirement's been great for me. I'm really enjoying it. And I appreciate those of you who already have crossed into retirement sharing with me the experience and helping me to prepare for it. I am loving just having my day to myself and futzing around, doing what I want to do. But I think the bigger question is, how has my retirement been for you?
Yeah, it's been really nice. I'm still happily working. I get to work from home. And, you know, he says he's been futzing around, but okay, so y'all know Scott Shell. He's built a patio. He's built a two sidewalks. Maybe you've even relaid the roof. I've not checked to see, but y'all know Scott. So we've got a couple new sidewalks and patios, and y'all can check it out if you happen to auction off for, I think what I'm hearing is happening at the fundraiser.
Right, our bedrooms are up for auction.
Yeah, we did that last year. It was a total blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great weekend.
Yeah, put in your
Okay, we'll take what we can get. Thank you so much, sound team. Who's our prayer chaplain today? Brooke. And did I hear a second one? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lisa. So bring your prayer needs to Brooke or to Lisa after service, and they are well experienced in helping you with words and with energy to feel better about whatever you might be carrying that feels a little too heavy. And now we go to our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin